Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Ian Bruce,
John Marson,
and Marcus Hurley.
You can contact us on email at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. I guess it's time for us to talk about Game of Thrones Season 5. It's nearly over, so at the present time, we still haven't seen the final two episodes, but we're going to just sort of take it from now. And we might come back and insert some other stuff about the final two episodes after, depending on how dramatic they really are. But I don't know. It still seems, even though, I mean, this season, definitely has been different to season 4, which was kind of like a big explosion every other week. It's very much been a kind of leading up to something.
It's been a bit of a drag, really, hasn't it? For me, anyway. Some of it's been a bit, this again. When is something going to happen?
and then it does.
And then it does, which has been great. You know, we should all know after the first season of Breaking Bad that sometimes it's worth sticking around for stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of like nothing. Oh my God, winter just came all over your eyes.
Yes, right up your nostrils. But there was the sand snakes and stuff. I'm sure we could spend a lot of time laughing at them and their exquisite combat skills.
Yeah, I'm just going to say now, this is full spoilers, so if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, and this won't be coming out until the finale has aired, but just to warn you, if you're not up to date with Game of Thrones, then look away now.
Should we do two versions then? One where, oh my God, it's so horrible, everyone is dead. Literally, everyone is dead. The only person that's still alive is the faceless man.
Yeah.
And he's pretending to be Arya.
Wow, that would be awesome.
I think
That would be.
I think, honestly, to some extent, that has not helped, actually, is that with this season, so many like cool characters aren't around anymore. And
Tyrion's still there?
Well, he is, yeah, but I think they've all been sort of scattered to the winds to an extent. I've never been a big fan of the Varys character that he was kind of hanging out with early on. He seems like a bit of a sort of exposition device to me. But when he ended up crossing paths with Jorah, I thought that was really interesting.
Really? I thought that was all so contrived.
Really?
Really? I just thought it was rubbish.
Oh, I liked it. I just enjoyed seeing Jorah doing something different.
I enjoyed seeing Jorah in the whorehouse going, I can't even get this Khaleesi.
Fake Khaleesi, yeah. That was a bit on the nose, I thought, as well.
I thought it was good when they got together, but the act of them getting it together just seemed a bit of a plot hole, but not as big of a plot hole as they turn up at dawn at the same time as other stuff's happening, and it all just seems to happen at once. That thing is happening at the very same time. They're going to try and kill her or grab her, and they just wander in, having got through all the guards with nobody going, "Who are those fellows? They don't look like locals."
Covered in blood.
Yeah, it was just wow.
It was like
it was
no
written by a 5-year-old.
It was a little bit cheap.
That is all a bit off book, apparently, and a lot of this season has been. In particular, though, that season, that scene you're talking about in Dawn is the absolute low point. But to give them some benefit of the doubt, I think the problem they had with that was that the location they were using was like an actual real place that they had to be out of within like a 24-hour period, so it really compromised like what they could do and how much they could spin that out.
I hope they've learned from that, because that was it was a massive dip for the show for me.
They could have done it all like on a soundstage, and it
or they
would
could
have probably benefited from.
They could have spent some time actually doing some choreography. I mean, all that talk before, when you had them all set up saying, you know, I'm the daughter of the Viper and all that, carrying the spear and all that sort of thing. Turns out her most useful asset is getting naked and poisoning people.
That
Yeah.
was a very good scene, though.
That's
Let's
it.
not dismiss
It
that.
was a fantastic scene. Yeah, but
I'm not
that's
going to
what I'm
complain
saying.
too much
No,
about that.
but however,
Oh, no,
the
you
combat
can't.
was like really drunk uncles trying to dance
Yeah.
with a bride or a bridesmaid who doesn't want to be danced with. It was just horrible.
Yeah.
You could watch the old Power Rangers while stoned, and it would probably look better. There's some great shots on Reddit or gifs on Reddit of the girls waving their swords or whatever it was about 3 feet away, like they're fighting with them. It was just absolutely horrible.
But the stuff before that on the beach when they first arrived in Dawn, I thought that was all pretty decent.
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
pretty cool.
Like,
Was that the cock vendor? What was the cock trader? Was that then? That was fucking hilarious. That was.
Yeah. How will they know
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a dwarf's cock if it's not attached to a dwarf? Well, it'll be dwarf size. Guess again.
yeah, that was class. Another class period line.
that was good.
But yeah, the whole kind of rescue the princess thing, it's been a bit sort of dodgy, but I think we should all just blame Cersei because it was her idea.
And now she's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
It started well. There was some discomfort with a wedding with what's his name from Misfits. Christ, what is his character's name?
Bolton.
Oh,
Ramsay.
Ramsay
Yeah.
Bolton, that's it.
Yeah, he's not a nice.
Ramsay or Ramsay
He's not a
Street.
nice fella.
Yeah. He's like an evil hobbit, isn't he?
He's not even comedy hobbit. He's
he's an evil hobbit. He's got the same curly hair. You kind of think if Frodo, it's what Frodo would have become if he kept the Ring of Power.
He's like, they all talk when I start peeling them. It's like, you nasty bastard. That's not nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, his whole existence for being has been to sort of like get the approval of his father.
Yeah.
And that just involves embracing what that house is all about, which their sign is the flayed man. So
Gonna have to flay some
Dis-
motherfuckers.
yeah, he's certainly living up to that.
He's such a flyer.
Don't hate the flayer.
Hate the Game of Thrones.
Flayer's
Yeah.
gonna flay. Yeah. Okay.
Now, there was some talk about like how apparently in the book it's not Sansa that gets married to him.
Yeah. I know,
somebody
yeah.
looks like her or something.
Yeah, it's someone who
It's
looks like Arya, who's pretending to
It's
be
her
Arya.
childhood friend, I think, who gets the Lannisters palm her off as Arya grown up, and Ramsay marries her and does even more unspeakable things to her involving dogs.
Oh,
Apparently.
Nice.
Oh, grim.
Reek does a bit more in the
Yeah,
book as
it's
well, I think.
horrendous. But I've got a few theories on what might be happening because there's a couple of characters that I know haven't turned up, and I think because they seem to be merging people's storylines from minor characters and events, there might be. I think I know where they're going with Sansa, unless by the end of this it doesn't happen. In which case, oh my god, they're all dead! They're all skeletons of walking undead zombies. It's Game of Undead Thrones.
Yeah, I thought the big payoff for this season was going to be
Mastodon being in it.
no, I thought it was going to be a big fight at
Winterfell.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
No, at Winterfell, because they all seem to have their eye on that. They all want to control the North. But then I forget that there's this huge fucking undead horde that are well, winter is coming. And
I think the last episode we saw reminded us of that was there. I think that awesome shot of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse standing above the village.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
There was before the season they did a number of behind the scenes things, and one of them was them scouting the area for that village to be built, and them saying this village plays quite a big part in this season. So I thought it would be a village that was in all of the season, not a village that was in it for about 25 minutes.
And got destroyed.
Yeah, it was awesome. I felt like I was glad to have stuck around.
I don't get why everybody wants to control the north. Like, surely you'd want to control Dawn or somewhere nice and warm for when winter comes through and the undead hordes start rampaging through from the north. Like, wouldn't you just fuck off down south for the winter? Like a bird.
Yeah.
Like a soft southerner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
isn't it because they've got like a lot of like army up there because they're all worried about what's beyond the wall? And so I guess maybe they can leverage those forces to take on the South at some point, or
if they
I don't know.
survive.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, this is it.
Tactically, that's definitely the wrong thing to do, isn't it?
Seems to be to me.
If all the army is up the north because of the undead, why would you go to the north and start attacking? Exactly. What?
Yeah.
It's almost like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's got dragons in it. Don't really care too much.
And tits.
It does
Well, I
have
think-
the Nork, yes.
I mean, it just made me think that where this is all heading is kind of a massive kind of battle between the undead and dragons. That's kind of what I have.
Well,
That's
you've
kind
pretty
of
much
what I have
some
in my head.
fantasy up there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but
Undead dragons and women with big boobs.
I
And
love
a
that
dude
it's all
with a
kind
magic
of.
sword.
Yeah.
I love that it's just heading that way after sort of becoming such a credible, like, serious HBO show. They very slowly sort of put those elements into
I'm not
it.
sure. Yeah, it's been successful. I'm not necessarily sure it's been credible. It has been a bit crazy and batshit and stuff. What's her name giving birth to a shadow demon in that cave, and
That was amazing, though.
it was amazing.
Oh.
However, never going to happen.
Are you,
know,
Of course not.
unless you're from Rockford, you're
Yeah.
never going to do that. So
but you're
Although-
alright. You alright with the
Yeah.
dragons and all that, or
Yeah. And the dialogue,
yeah.
which were right at the start.
What I'm saying is, it's not Downton Abbey or anything. It's not. It's
I don't know.
pure fantasy, but
course,
not as
yeah.
pure as it could be. It doesn't have goblins and elves necessarily.
But it's far less trashy than something like True Blood, which is another
It's
HBO
not even
show.
worth mentioning in the same sentence, to
No.
be honest.
Um,
The first couple of series
but that is
were fun.
another series that's not about real stuff, that's based on books.
But the
And,
True Blood was good to start with, and then it lost its way, right? In the same way that Dexter was.
Yeah. So I guess there's the worry that this might go the same route, especially now that they've apparently, especially in the very last episode that was on, several of those plot lines have overtaken the books.
do you think Jon Snow's going to wander off and become a lumberjack?
Perish the thought.
Jon Snow's going to become a dragon rider. It's going to be like a surfing
Did
dude.
thought he was
in
going
a
to get it
Hawaiian
this week.
shirt.
I thought he was going to go.
I really did
Yeah.
as well. But that's cool because they've raised the stakes on the show so many times before
Yeah.
that you never know what's going to happen. And I haven't read the books. You sound like you've read the books, Marcus. Have you?
I've read a few of them, and I kind of was a bit naughty before the show even came on, and wikied a little bit and stuff like that.
It's
But,
all out there. Yeah, it's all out there.
No,
if you
not
want to know.
like to spoil it, but this was when I was reading the books. This was
okay.
before the show was
Right.
created. So there were a few more books for me to read that I hadn't got round to them yet. But I, as long as he had Longclaw, I was fine. I knew he'd be okay against the White Walker, because if Dragonglass killed the White Walker, Dragonglass is kind of the when you're smelting a sword, you've got like the molten
Yeah.
steel left
Yeah.
over or whatever, and that's what Dragonglass is. Whereas Valerian steel is the pure raw product.
Yep.
What reason why Valerian steel is so powerful is because originally it was forged with dragon's fire, so the metal itself permanently has magical properties, which makes it sound like goblins and elves and everything else. So you can reforge it, you can smelt it down, but the steel itself has a core like plus 10 dragon or whatever.
And I think
essentially.
I think that's what does make it credible. Instead of it being presented as the great sword and lots of close-ups of the sword and stuff,
Yeah.
it's just his sword. It doesn't have
Yeah.
any known magical powers, and he doesn't wave it around like he's going to get chicks because his sword is plus 10 against the undead.
He did turn a
It-
White
it's
Walker
not
into dust with
D&D.
it, though.
He did. That was a bit
Oh,
crazy.
And
I cheered.
he did
I so cheered.
shag a
Definitely
wild
a magical power, if you ask me.
Yes, but it's not. It's not childhood D&D.
No.
And while that was great, and I would probably still enjoy that now, I don't really want my serious drama to be having, I failed a hit roll and stuff, and just that kind of more childish fantasy elements that perhaps the name of the father. What's that D&D movie that Staith lowered himself to be in? What was that?
Bioe Bowl.
Yes, I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah, that was a Dungeon Siege thing.
Okay.
I didn't realise he was in that. I
Which
might have
I've
to watch it.
No, don't. Don't. No, it's no.
You don't have to.
He must have
No,
done it for
talking of what-
contractual reasons.
No, talking of wildlings, people were up in arms about this character that was, introduced to a lot of positive reaction and then brutally snatched away from us in a few minutes.
Game of Thrones,
time.
what the fuck were they expecting? Really?
I know,
Nuts,
but it was,
though.
I mean,
Like, the way that you you cared about her so much really quickly and then dead. It's like, oh, you fuckers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Carsey was her name, played by Bridget Hjort Sorensen.
She had a name.
Yeah.
What was she in before? 'Cause she's been in some Scandinavian noir stuff, I think. I'm sure I've seen her before.
Quite possibly. But her character. It was just so funny when she was like, "Oh, I'll be back. I've just got to help these people out, and then I'll be back just behind you. She might as well. Yeah, she might as well have just said, "Yeah, off to get me red shirt and die horribly." But no, she was really badass. But so were the White Walkers and their whites.
Well, she got taken out by the kids. Didn't
Oh
she?
yeah, the kids. Oh.
So, do you think there's some sort of balance? You've got Mother of Dragons, you'll have Mother of Undead Minions, Minionettes.
Oh, you think it'll be like a Dark Khaleesi sort of thing on the other side of the wall,
with loads of undead children
crawling out of her.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works. I assume that the babies they take are the sort of commander people.
I think so.
But yeah, the one who was kind of like egging on Jon Snow, like taunting him at the end as he was sailing off. Apparently, he was a Stark, like sort of. We're talking hundreds of years ago.
Okay.
And his name was Bran Stark, and he fell in love with a White Walker lady.
Are we going to find all this out in later episodes and you've just spoiled it? Or is that...
No, I don't know. Not necessarily, because it's...
Well, they gave him a lot of screen
They
time,
did.
so maybe.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a... this all kind of leaked out last season, but since then it's become a bit more just sort of available knowledge. But yeah, I'll shut up now. I won't say anymore. But I mean, the way I see it, this show very rarely does like flashback stuff. I think the only time really was at the start of this season with the Cersei flashback.
Yeah.
Where I think that's the only time they've ever done it.
Good.
But yeah, I think that was definitely like foreshadowing what might happen to her by the end of this.
Oh, come
this
on, we all
season.
think she's going to die by this point, don't we?
Yeah, but aren't they,
Cersei,
maybe
no,
they're just...
I think she's going to get away with
Do you
it.
reckon?
I think something's going to happen, yeah. Something will come in and somebody will... Her brother will come back or some shit and... Is he still alive, her brother?
Yeah.
He's in Dawn.
Her one-handed brother, not the shorter brother. I think she will get away with it because I think she's too evil. I think she needs to be in it all the way through.
Do you think she would end up taking over the sect? Kind of ended up
Nah, I
running
don't
it
reckon
somehow.
so. I think she's going to cop it. I reckon she'll think, fuck it, I'll repent, and she'll confess all of her sins in the hope that they'll set her free, and she'll act like she's trying to help out the Queen, and then they'll just like chop her face off.
It would be hilarious if Marjorie was seen as became a high priestess or something.
God.
Because clearly her role as queen has kind of gone a bit wrong. And she's lost it completely a bit. She's gone a bit Essex.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you bitch! Get out of my cell, you
Well, that's
I've just been
exactly like
thinking.
it was. That's excellent.
Yeah, pretty much.
If she fesses up about Jaime, that means Jaime can't go back to King's Landing either, which means Jaime has to hook up with Tyrion and all of the Dawn stuff and Khaleesi, all of those guys hook up. Yeah, then you've got and then Stannis is going to come down with the wildlings and take over King's Landing, and then there'll be a big fuck off fight there or something, and then the wildlings will come down and they'll join forces to take on them. That's how I think it's
I
going to go.
don't know if there are any wildlings left.
No, there are.
There were a
There's
few.
loads.
There were a few that got away on
Yeah.
the boats, but they were mainly like children and stuff.
definitely
weren't
one
they?
there was-
giant as well.
families. Whereas all the he just went, oh sod this. And
He's
just
brilliant,
fucking
isn't he?
off.
That
There were-
giant.
Get off! Get off!
There were several boats full of wildlings. I think what's left of them are
I
now
meant
going to
the
war.
actual fighting ones, though.
Oh,
The
I
warrior
suppose.
ones.
I suppose, yeah, they did lose quite a few.
I think there
They were
will be
still
some.
in the village, weren't they?
I'm not sure.
I think that's going to be the big surprise for whoever gets up north first, looking for a fight. Oh shit, there's a few hundred wildlings as well.
Stannis the Manis is in for a surprise.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. I do wonder how much they can do, because it seems like they're setting up even more than I anticipated. They've got to resolve some of what's going on at Winterfell. They might save that for next season. Who knows? I don't know.
Next week is going to be the fighting pits, isn't it? Isn't that there's been trailers and stuff? Sorry for spoilers.
Oh,
but
yeah, we did catch a
I
little
think the
bit
big
of
one is going
what's
to be
next on.
the big action one next week is going to be the fighting pits with what's his
Jorah.
yes and stuff.
Cool.
I think that's going to
Yeah.
be. Or
I
part
get
of
the
it,
feeling
anyway.
it might be his last season as well.
Do you think Khaleesi's right-hand man, that bloke, I can't remember his name, he who changed faces twice.
Her fuck buddy.
Do you think, her fuck buddy, do you think he's going to go in the fighting pits? Because he seems to love them so much.
He needs to go away.
It's going to be a face-off between him and Jorah.
Maybe,
He might as
yeah.
well just be called Mr. Exposition. He's why is he there?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be doing anything apart from making Khaleesi look like a wet weekend, really. She's so out of character, really.
Yeah.
I don't really get it. I mean, she's been a bit out of character this season. I don't know why she didn't just kill the fella instead of asking Tyrion what would I do. She'd got all misty-eyed like she was in the fucking Vampire Diaries and started pouting and then, I don't know what to do then. Jesus.
Well, I've always found her storyline like to be the weakest, and I think because a lot of it is not told in the books and it's elaborated on, and they've just tried to do what they can with it. I think it's going to be a lot better going forward now that Tyrion's over there, and he's gonna properly get it happening,
yeah.
Because I feel like she's just been sort of like trying to establish her power, and she's not, with Jorah gone, she had Barristan Selmy, but he got taken out, and so all she's got is Melisandre, who will just do whatever she says, sort of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. She doesn't know how to rule, really. Or
no, she's got no guidance, but she has now. She knows she needs him. That's why she was so quick to say yes, join me. In the last episode,
I think she might be worried about becoming the next Mad King, because whenever that gets mentioned, she backtracks.
Yeah.
After Sir Barristan told her the story of how, was it Sir Barristan? He said how he actually was quite crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And, he would literally burn people alive and stuff and laugh and whilst they're doing that. When she heard the stories of what he actually did and how he actually went mad, but he wasn't always
She's worried
like
it
that.
runs in the family.
So maybe it's her sort of, something that hits close to home. She could become like that if she just goes around killing
Maybe
people.
she's trying to.
Because she's got the dragons. Yeah. She's got the bloodline.
Perhaps she's trying to be really anti that, but eventually it'll all boil up.
She'd be like, "Fuck it, just kill them all."
Yep.
She goes full on Senator Palpatine.
Roast them.
I wonder what she'd do if they hook up with Jaime. That's going to be a problem because Jaime killed her father.
Jaime and the magic torch. Sad.
Yeah.
That's the hand attachment that we haven't seen yet.
It's quite interesting though, the way he'll probably tell her the story the way that we heard it, about how he had to kill him for, because he was just went absolutely batshit and started destroying everybody.
Yeah. When he was telling Brienne that in the bathhouse and she stood up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of Brienne going on, even though she's like, a few strides away from Winterfell. She's there.
I'm a little worried about her character.
Oh, she's fine. She's got Valerian steel. She'll just dominate.
I mean, shit. Someone else can get it after you're dead.
She's also in the Star Wars movie, so I'm not quite sure if she's planning to be doing less Game of Thrones, or if somebody's planning it for her.
Yeah, but no, I think it's been a slow season, but it definitely paid off in episode 8. I'm interested to see. We haven't really talked about Arya's plot too much, although
that's been really
that's
good.
all a little bit.
The many faces room, God,
The many face
place.
God.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that was that was interesting.
It reminded me of Return to Oz. Do you remember that?
Oh God, yeah.
With the
That was
queen
scary
that
as a
had
kid.
the heads
Oh,
that she would
yeah.
replace. And I just, when she was walking past, I was so expecting them to open their eyes. It was freaking me out. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, they're going to blink or something. But
Or smile. It's just like,
yeah, stuff like that. But it is quite cool. A lot of people have complained about how like dark those scenes are, but I love it. I think the set design in that whole temple has just been awesome.
The only thing that slightly annoyed me about that is the guy, her tutor or mentor, talking like Yoda all the time. A girl will not see what a girl wants to see. What? Just speak English and not in the third person all the time, you fucking idiot. But I suppose it adds character and depth and fantasiness to it.
I love the scene in the last. My God, episode 8 of this season is probably one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones, I think. There was the whole bit where she was sort of, he was kind of explaining about, this kind of deal that was going on between a merchant and another chap, and like her sort of scoping it out and stuff, and the way that sort of cut between, and the music on that scene as well. It's just really good.
I love to go cockles, best cockles.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also, a few episodes ago, the scene where she was tossing out all her possessions and she had to go and hide Needle, her sword.
Yeah, that was good.
I definitely missed it up a bit during that scene. Because it's the last thing that's left of her father, isn't it, to her? So that really got me. That did. 2 episodes left.
Cool.
Is that going to be the Chekhov sword? You know, just in case this bloke turns out to not be as nice as... Well, he hasn't actually come across as nice, he's just weird. You know, in case, because you kind of think it's right by the end of the dock, it's in a rock place, you wouldn't know it's there. It's obviously a place where, if you're confronted, you know, you're backing away, you've got your back to the sea, they think they've got you, and you pull out a Valerian sword.
Yeah.
Is that Valerian Needle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, so that definitely will.
Yeah, there's no way that's going to stay under that rock forever, is it?
No, I'm not sure where Bravos is geographically compared to everywhere else.
South.
But
there's certainly maps online.
Is it? Yeah, I should look that up. But
I think they should get that giant statue walking. That'll be
the Titan of Bravos.
I did
activate the anti-dragon.
I did think it was all a bit Ray Harryhausen this week. So getting that statue walking would be another Harryhausen nod, definitely.
It is very... Was it Clash of the Titans or something? Where you had the giant statue and they pull the molten liquid out of his ankle and it kills him. It was one of the Harryhausen type films.
Wasn't that one of the Sinbad ones?
There was a giant bronze statue. I don't know if it was... It might be Sinbad.
Yeah, the Sinbad ones had the skeletons.
That's what I sort of reference when they do the whole skeleton stuff.
Yeah.
It's
skeletons.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. So, any other thoughts on Game of Thrones? Or are we good for now?
I'm a bit worried where it's going, because if it's been slow and building up, then these 2 episodes, you know, episode 9's usually been the crazy one, but 8's done that. So if 9's going to be more crazy. Was it 8?
Yeah, it was 8,
yeah.
I think it was 8 last season as well. That was the Serpent and the Viper episode, at least. I think 8 is the new 9.
I thought 9 was the Serpent and Viper.
No. I'm not sure what was 9 last time, but...
Wasn't 9 the wall?
Yeah.
It might have been, yeah, it was.
Actually, I think the last 4 episodes were kind of really intense, because 7 was the court, wasn't it? The court scene, I think, which ended with him saying, you know, basically, fuck you.
I think that was earlier on. It was certainly like every other episode was like massively sort of mad stuff going on. But anyway, 2 episodes left. It'll be interesting to see how much they cover off. And And they might save the Winterfell stuff until next season. Who knows? They might still be buying time a little in the hope that he might write some more of the books. But yeah, I certainly like it. The fact that it's getting to a point now where the book readers can't be quite so smug about it anymore. And
I find that that's a bit trolly though. They've spent all this time reading the books, and now they're going, "Oh fuck them, we're better than that, or we're going to be different." So all it does is, for everybody that's read the books, it means that everybody who's read the books can say, "Yeah, the books are much better." So maybe that's why they're doing it, to get everybody to watch the TV series.
To be honest, that happens, but that happens already with film adaptations. TV shows already that are based on books. It's the same thing with those sort of anime series as well. They're often based on comics. And often the comic isn't finished before it finishes its run. So, I guess, I guess the question for the book readers would be, is the TV show replacing the duller parts of the books, or is the TV show just becoming more TV showish because that's what it has to do?
And you can tweet us about that, listeners.
Yeah,
I would say some of the latter.
Yeah, tweet us.
Tweet us, listeners. I would guess. Thanks.
Yeah, I would guess it's a combination of both of those, to be honest.
Because I'm saying there is one element. I mean, I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'll talk off record or whatever. But there is one thing that I know happens in the books, which I don't think will happen in the TV show. But I think they'll do it another way. It's to do with one of the characters.
A deceased one.
That's very informative.
Because I've heard
possibly.
I've heard some things as well.
Possibly. Well, if anyone's read the books, they'll probably know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, it's definitely one.
I'm not saying anything because I've heard some things that I wish I hadn't heard, to be honest.
Heard or went looking for?
That's just life.
No,
in
not
general,
looking
Rob.
for. It's just in conversation, and someone's gone, "Oh, they're probably not going to do this," and it's like, well, I don't care. I'd rather not know in case they do.
Yeah, I should probably give Karma a call and tell her to stop paying you back for the Bruce Willis thing. It's been what, 20 years now or something. There's probably enough time.
Yeah, I think I'm out of that obligation.
I think so.
Anyway, yeah, okay. So, anything else to say about Game of Thrones?
It's good. Watch it if you're not.
Yeah, it's still worth sticking with. This has been the Not Watching Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk. You can contact us on email at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya.
Bonjour.